to the first episode of Between Us Girls.
We're here, finally.
We're out of the group chat, so let's get into it.
Absolutely.
So I guess we can basically start it out talking about how the podcast came about.
Yeah.
This has been something that's been in the works for me for about 2 years now. It all started when I was headed to the Beyonce concert, October of 2023. So it's been in the works for a while. Me, my friend AD/sister/everything. She's one of my bridesmaids. We were headed to the Beyonce concert, and we were basically making this drive to Atlanta. So it's like 3.5 hours, and we were just having conversation. And I was like, this would be so great for a podcast. And so I was like, do you want to do a podcast with me? And she was like, yeah, sure. So fast forward to after the Beyonce concert, we were throwing back and forth ideas. Long story short, the timing didn't happen right. Like, we just couldn't get things intertwined. She's out of town, I'm here. And I approached Amber with the idea. Of course, Amber, being difficult as she always is, she basically blew me off. And I was like, we were talking one day and I was like, Amber, we should totally do a podcast. Our conversations are so cool. And she was just like, whatever, basically.
Well, pause, because Jasmine always has 1 million ideas.
I do not.
Jasmine. We love that about her, though, but she always has 1 million ideas. So I'm like, all right, girl, just let me know where I need to send a check or where I need to sign. I'll show up, child. But I did blow her off.
You blew me off big time. And so this was probably like 2 months after I had said something. I would always be like, this would be great for a podcast. When we'd be talking, she didn't say anything. And then one day we were talking and she was like, oh my gosh, this would be great for us to talk about on a podcast. And I was like, okay, maybe she's
listening.
Maybe she's listening. Maybe she wants to do it. And then me and Aimee's friendship came about. We'll get into that. Mm-hmm. But I had approached her with the idea, and her reaction was a million times different than Amber's. She was like, yeah, sure, absolutely, whatever you need me to do. Like, I'm so glad you thought of me. And so 2 years later, us three are here as the Between Us Girls podcast. We got stories.
We got a lot of stories.
Many stories.
We can go into like how we met each other.
Oh, yeah.
You want to tell them how you met me?
Well, so Jasmine and I are cheerleading coaches, cheerleading choreographers. So that's how we met. Our first, I guess, really full-time on-the-road job where we traveled to work with athletes all over the world. We met at UCA.
Back in 2008.
That's crazy. Back in 2008. So we've been friends for a long time, and I took her under my wing, and we've just been friends ever since, on and off. We've had our trials and tribulations.
Don't say on and off. It was only one off.
She's like a sister to me, so it's like, sisters fight. So we've had our moments throughout the whole shebang. But here we are, and now we're doing a
UCA
podcast.
staff to working at our cheer gym that we're at now to.
So I got her in UCA, and she got me at the gym.
Yes.
So it was like a give and take type of thing. But cheerleading all day long. So now this year we get to coach a team together for the first time in history.
Yes, of our friendship. We've never coached a team together. And now we're going to coach a team together. So
God bless.
She's been in the middle of some of our spats. We
Aimee
have to put her between
the
us
buffer, 1,000%. Aimee is the buffer.
Thank God I am not in the cheer world, so I can be as neutral as possible.
True.
For the two of you.
Yes.
You can. So Aimee, you want to talk about how we met, or you want me to?
I feel like you should start it.
Okay, so my fiance and her husband are really close. They're line brothers, all the things. And I had been around Mario a few times before I met you, but every time it would be my fiance, your husband, and me. They would always be like, you gotta meet Aimee, you gotta meet Aimee, you gotta meet Aimee. And I'm the type, I don't do new friends. I have 10 plus year relationships. Like, I don't do new friends, and having a friend like Amber, I'm not allowed to do new friends.
No.
She's not too inviting of new people. So they kept saying, you gotta meet Aimee, and all of my fiance's friends are married. So I'm like, I don't want to be in the wives club. Like, I'm not a wife. I was already, a little bitter Betty about, I'm just a girlfriend. Like, he want me to go hang around all these wives, and he ain't even made me his wife. You know how I get. And so I was like, I don't want to really be around her. I don't know who Aimee is. Where we linked up at Couch Therapy, which Aimee mom has this great thing called couch therapy. I'm sure we'll talk about it one day on the show.
We have to bring her on one day.
We do.
But we met at couch therapy, and like instantly when we met, we just immediately started in a conversation like we had known each other forever. It was great. Then the next day, Aimee literally texted me the next day.
I was on her, y'all. I was on her.
And she was like, I have to be better about my friendships and I want to be intentional. And it was like something nobody has ever texted me and said, I want to be intentional about our friendship.
I'm an over communicator, guys.
Wow.
Amber's never. Long story short, after she texted me that day, we have been like freaking frack ever since.
And my husband will not let me live it down that he is the reason that we are even friends.
Child.
And I would be remiss if I didn't share my side of how I met Jasmine. So you all know Married at First Sight.
Yes.
And we saw beautiful Jasmine on the show. And I was just intrigued of watching it. I've only seen one season, hadn't watched it since, but since it was in our city, I was like, I want to see what's going on. Fast forward, the mystery man was at the end of the episode. And,
Lord.
my husband would be like, I'm not really watching the show, but then he kind of got into it. And then fast forward forever and a day later, he comes home. He's like, you will never guess who is dating my line brother. And I was like, who? He was like, Jasmine. I was like, what?
That's the mystery.
The mystery. Has a name. And so he's just like, you were a fangirl. I was like, whatever. Like, I was rooting for you. I really was rooting for you.
We were all rooting
for you. Look. And so, yeah, inseparable. I made it out of the new friend. She
did.
I have a name now.
I had to warm up. I wouldn't give her a name for a very long time.
For a long time.
Like,
For
so what you need, your little friend?
For a good 4 months when I was telling Amber, like, I'm going to hang with Aimee today. She'd be like, yo, new little friend.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Y'all have fun.
Now I'm her.
Yes.
New little friend.
Yes, she's my new little friend. We can share jewelry.
Great.
Yes, because of the A thing. We have the A thing going on, so we can share jewelry.
I'm outnumbered with the A's.
So sorry.
She is. Yes. Forever.
Can't do nothing about that.
Can't do nothing.
And also, Amy's husband is hilarious, and I would never tell him to his face.
He all right.
He is hilarious.
Maybe one day we'll get Mario on. We're for sure getting Mario on here.
I think he would take over every single mic, and we'd just be sitting here as decoration.
It would be the Mario show. It wouldn't be Between Us Girls anymore.
No.
He would change it to Between Us Guys and bring all his friends on.
These couches wouldn't be
pink. They'd be brown.
Yeah.
Whole takeover.
100%.
Mario totally would do that.
So, well, speaking of Married at First Sight, how did you end up on the show? Like, what happened? How did this come about?
I had just started esthetician school. And so I've always been a fan of the show. Me and my mom have watched since season 1. So we love the show. I had an associate on a different season. So she's still married. She has kids. Like, it worked for her. But I never really saw myself going on there. Honestly, my dream show was Love is Blind. Like, ever since Love is Blind came out, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm not a person that has, that's really big on looks. I know those fades. So, like, I would love to meet the person, talk to them first. So Love is Blind is 1,000.
You made me watch that show.
I know. One day, I was in class at school, and my friend Christina, she actually helped me fill out the application. And people started sending me, like, Married at First Sight is casting in Nashville. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. Like, whatever. People just kept sending
Another idea from Jasmine.
But it wasn't my idea. I just,
But you took the bait.
Okay.
I took the freaking bait. So I'm in class and I like show my friend Christina. I'm like, girl, like, what do you think? And she actually told my teacher. And my teacher, we were really, really close to our teacher at school. And our teacher was like, let's all fill it out. Like, let's pull it up and let's fill it out.
Group project.
We literally filled out my application in class.
How long did that take? I know they're super long.
Well, this part wasn't.
Oh, okay.
So it was just basically the basics, and then you were supposed to upload a video of yourself. But I didn't do that. So I was like, I didn't even upload the video. They're probably not going to call me. I had submitted the application. We are still in class. 30 minutes later, I get a call.
Oh, that was quick.
And I'm like, I didn't know who the call was from, so I didn't answer.
Telemarketer.
I was like, I don't know.
Sally Mae.
I'm like, I don't know this number. I'm not answering it. And then you know how when you get a voicemail, it will tell you like the verbiage. So I saw the voicemail and I'm like reading, hi, I'm married at first sight. And I was like, and my teacher's like, go call them back. So I leave out of class. I go call them back. They were like, can we set up an interview? So they set up an interview with me for the next day, 24 hours later. Set up the interview. And then it probably like 2 weeks went by. I heard nothing. And then they called me and they were saying, we want to set you up with the call with one of our executive producers. And I'm just like, still in my head, I'm thinking, so many people apply for these shows. There's no way I'm going to get picked. So I just keep going through the interviews, going through the process. And then they hit me up and were like, hey, we need you to come to this hotel and do like some, I don't even know what they called it, but I went to a hotel and filmed some things. I met the experts. I interviewed with the experts. And at this point, when you're sitting at that hotel, you fill out a questionnaire that's literally 600 questions long. And I felt like it was the same question 600 different ways because they want to make sure that you're answering the question and you're not just saying what you feel is right. And then I went through a psychoanalysis. They had me meet with the person. And after we did that meetup, it was like a month. I didn't hear anything. And then they hit me back up and was like, hey, we want to do a home visit. And at the time, I had reached out to my associate that was on the show previously. And she was like, yeah, if you're doing a home visit, like
She is you in.
she was like, you might be in there. And I was just like, oh gosh, like there's no way. I've watched the show. I've seen girls get to the home visits and not be picked. Well, anyway,
That was not your fate.
I did the home visit. Then they said they wanted to come to the cheer gym and get some BTS. And I was like, okay, we're there. I'm filming. They come in and tell me, Dr. Pepper shows up and says, you're getting married at first sight. And so it
Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, that's her name for real.
No way.
You obviously don't watch the show.
As you say it out loud,
Yes.
it
I love
rings.
Dr. Pepper.
It actually,
Throw a lemon in there, call it a
as
day.
many times I watch episodes until she said it out loud.
Dr. Pepper. Yes.
It didn't register with me at all. Interesting. Could you ever get married at first sight?
No,
Never.
not at all. I don't think that's my missionary. I don't think
Well,
that's-
you're also not a person that, like, growing up, you didn't dream about being married.
I
or
dreamed
having
about
kids.
traveling.
Yeah, so that's
making
never
money. Yeah,
Amber's perspective on
life is completely different than
completely
theirs.
different from my little hopeless romantic self who
Yeah.
has been thinking about her husband since she was 3 and playing with Barbie dolls and being a mom.
And I'm like, a husband? I mean, that sounds fun. Sometimes
But I don't
when I
need
can't
it.
reach something, you
can't reach
when I can't reach something,
Diabolical.
It is a guaranteed extra person in your life.
yes, come change these air filters. Come take this trash out.
Fold the
Maybe watch a
laundry.
movie here and there.
Oh, okay, so just a helpmate.
I don't even really love movies though either.
Yeah, we'll just save the
I know,
non-married
y'all, I
life.
need some work.
We will save the non-married life for you,
Yeah.
and we'll just keep the married life over here.
I mean, I'm open to it, but it would have to be a long discussion.
That's fair.
It's not something that you feel like would fulfill you. Like, you don't need it to be fulfilled in life.
No.
Did you think you would ever do something like Married at First Sight?
Never.
Aimee!
I need to have clear understanding of my return on investment. And I just really don't feel like sight unseen is really my type of jam.
Okay.
Like,
But you like to do things quick because you and your husband,
oh yes, they
were dating like 3 months
yeah.
and got engaged.
I told him when we were dating, take me off Lelway. I'm not for the Lelway life.
Oh.
No returns. Like, once you purchase, you cannot return to sender.
Okay.
And I just knew after dating frequently and having different types of relationships, I knew after my time of being single, like what I wanted, what I didn't want. And thankfully, my now husband was in the same boat of knowing clearly what he wanted. And so I was like, hey, like, if you know what you want, I know what I want. I mean, I'm not going to ask you.
Right.
But take me off Lelway, bro. Like, for real, take me off Lelway.
Obviously, between the three of us, my optimism is at an all-time high. Like, I really felt, just because I knew someone who went through the experience and it worked out for them, I felt like I'm telling them everything I want. The other person is telling them everything they want. You really can't mess that up, can you? Unless you're lying, or unless you thought this was something you wanted and then you realize when you have it, like, it's not really what you want. So, and then you obviously can't predict if somebody's going to be attracted to you or not. Like, I wasn't his cup of tea. He wasn't attracted to me. Your preference is your preference. So that's like one of those things where
I have a theory about that, but we don't have to talk about it today.
Me too.
Unless you want to.
we don't have to talk about it.
We'll save it for another episode.
If y'all want us to talk about
we
it,
won't
or
ever talk about your theory on that.
if you want me to talk about my theory and Aimee to talk about hers, let us know, because I have one.
I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
Maybe that's an
we
episode.
can just fly by, you know. We can just,
Anyways, but people have their preferences. You like what you like. I don't feel like if you're picky, this is the type of show that you come on.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my personal opinion. If you're a super picky person and you have to have this, and this, and you don't make that clear, this is not the show for you. But
I would agree, because you're relinquishing one major factor, which
Yes.
is being able to visually
see the
survey
person. Yes.
who
Yes.
it is that you would be taking that step with. So pickiness should be out the window at that point. If
And
you're giving it up.
and I feel like I don't have a type. Obviously, like y'all seen my
You
ex-boyfriend
don't
compared
have
to the guy I'm talking to now. They are literally
Night and day.
night and day.
I don't have a type either. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's why I was like,
Right, that would
married
help
at
me
first
out in
sight.
that sense, because I don't think I have a type at all
No,
whatsoever.
I don't have a type. I mean, if you look at my exes, they're all over
Yeah,
the
you don't have a
spectrum.
type
I don't have a type. Do you have a type, Aimee?
Yes, my wonderful husband is my type.
Oh, okay.
Period. Yes.
One and done. That's
You're
my
such a
type.
good wife.
I am a good wife. He's so blessed to have me.
Oh my God.
He's so blessed.
My experience on the show was obviously a roller coaster if you watched it. Emotionally, I grew a lot. There were things that affected me from childhood, from 2 years ago, that I didn't realize was hindering me in relationships. And the reason why, it's not the reason why my other relationships didn't work out, but I probably wouldn't have been in the situations as long as I was in those situations had I had these types of realizations about myself. So the show definitely I didn't end up with that husband, but I ended up with my new man that I have now,
love him.
who's
We do.
amazing and lights up my life. But I have no regrets, and I don't want to be like, I would do it over. But I feel like if I wouldn't have done it, it wouldn't have matured me and made me even more ready to be a wife for, my future husband in just a few weeks.
I know. What is it? It's like 40?
44 days.
Insane.
That's crazy, man.
I'm going to be a wife in 44 days.
We're going to get you down that aisle, though.
Yes.
Amber and I and all the other bridesmaids.
Yes.
If y'all didn't know, Amber and Aimee are bridesmaids. Oh, I haven't been a bridezilla, have I? Oh, the silence.
No. Jasmine has very particular taste,
Oh,
and
my
Jasmine
gosh.
has a very particular timeline.
It was a quick timeline. And no, I'm not pregnant, so that wasn't the timeline. That wasn't why I was quick.
Thank God. This would be a whole different, like a worse experience.
Children are beautiful, but
Children are beautiful. Y'all
She's
know I
not-
want a baby, but that's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, well, she's not a bridezilla. She's just Jasmine is a over the top extra individual, and we love that about her, because I'm not that way. I'm very much like the opposite. So it brings a different side out of me. We call her Sharika. It brings a different side out
Amber's
of
alter
me.
ego, Sharika.
Yes. Well, I'm girly girl, but not like she is. Like, I don't really like to dress up and, have my nails. And if you saw my nails right now, you'd be really disappointed in me. Have my hair, well, I do my hair all the time, but nails and clothes and heels and all the things. That's just not my shebang, and it is hers. So she just has a specific way that she wants us to do everything. Like, at her wedding, we are going to look like we're going to the Oscars. Like, my dress is red carpet ready. And
snatch, guys.
snatch.
Snatch.
I also think of it as like, I know I'm the bride, and no matter what anybody wears, like, the attention is going to be on me, but I want my friends to feel like bosses. Like, I want y'all to feel like bad bees. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Come on, censor.
I want y'all to walk into my wedding and be like, I am that girl, because I feel like all of my friends are beautiful, and that your friends are a reflection of you. And I can't be in there looking like a Barbie doll and y'all look busted.
Looking like
Chucky.
yesterday's.
So,
Trash.
yes, your dresses, I let all of my bridesmaids choose their dresses.
Kind of.
What do you mean, kind of?
Jasmine, you sent me suggestions before I even could look at the website.
Because I know you get overwhelmed.
Yeah,
And I was like, I'm going to help Amber out a little bit and send her some that I think would look nice on her. It wasn't me choosing for you. It was me trying to help you not spiral, because there were 5,000 dresses to choose from.
There were a lot of dresses. I got to give it to you.
I think I picked yours too.
She did.
I saw the
can't
dress and
wait.
I said, this is Aimee.
And I
so
said,
she comes with a suggestion.
Yeah, that's it. You choose what you want to choose, but I'll give a suggestion. And if you send it to me and I don't like it, it would have been a no. But,
but no, I don't think you, to answer your original question, I do not believe that you are a bridezilla.
I couldn't tell by the silence y'all gave me.
We were just trying to find words.
Correct. Because bridezilla comes in a lot of shapes, sizes, attitudes,
Yes.
and all of that.
Yes.
And given your timeline and all of your hopes, dreams, and wishes, you've been very mellow
Okay, thank you.
compared to what some brides could be during wedding planning. Because wedding planning is,
It's not for the
let me
weak.
just myth bust. Wedding planning is not fun.
No, I thought you're going to get engaged. You're in this fiance bliss, this marital
She
bliss.
sure did.
And I was like, 0 stars. Do not recommend. Elope, please.
Yeah.
Like, elope me, please.
That's what I would do. If you I'm going to a destination.
But say
and
you
if
totally
can
would do a
come,
destination.
come. If you can't, that's okay too.
I feel like day of, I'll feel happy and feel like this was all worth it. But leading up to it, I'm like, take me to the courthouse
It's a lot.
with
Dude,
all
it's a
12 of
lot.
my bridesmaids.
Especially because of all the other stuff we have going on, like with our other jobs too. It's a pretty busy season for all of us outside of the wedding, the podcast. Like,
And we decided to do a podcast in the midst
who's
of
we?
all.
Who's we? Because I know Aimee and I were like, "Are you sure? Like, should we not just wait?" No, I can do it. We can do it. It's
Because
gonna
I've
be
been
easy.
sitting
It's
on
gonna
this
be
for
great.
2 years, and there would have been so many wasted conversations that I just knew would have been great on here.
And we're going to unpack every single one of them. So we hope that you all subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe, listen in every single week when we drop these gems, respond when we ask you all if you have suggestions. Like,
It's
this
just girl talk.
Yeah, this is our outlet. We have, as Amber said, so many things going on, bridesmaids, work,
Yes.
relationships, all types of stuff. And so this is just our time to just have fun and just have girl time.
You have the married perspective. I'm engaged, about to be married. Amber's dating, living her best life. I feel like there's always that person in a group. So any types of conversations we have, any conflict we have, I feel like if we were to unpack it on here, people would understand and just could really relate to us.
And I'm an auntie to the sweetest nieces and nephews. She is.
Y'all know my journey,
she
baby.
wants to-
I have
yes.
other nieces and nephews.
Well, she
too,
wants to be a mom.
But I want to be a mom
Yes.
so bad.
And Aimee has a daughter too with her husband, so that they, we just make it work out.
We do.
And so everybody has a different perspective of
Life.
life, but we can still find common ground.
I do want to talk about one more thing.
Okay.
Before we wrap it up.
Cool.
Because we have a podcast. What was the first podcast you ever listened to? Are you a podcast person? Do you not listen to them? Like,
Me first or you first, Aimee?
Mine's gonna be short and sweet.
okay, Aimee, go ahead.
I'm not really a podcaster. I am someone that, spends a lot of time at work, hobbies, things of that nature. And so trying to find dedicated time to sit down and listen to something has always been a challenge, but it's something that I've definitely had interest in. in terms of my first ever podcast, I am a self-help type of person. If I'm feeling down or I need some type of pick-me-up, I'm usually going to gravitate towards something like that. And so in terms of, the work-life balance type stuff, listening to something on my way home from work has always kind of been my jam because it just allows me time to decompress from work, make sure that I'm resetting before I get home, not take any type of, stress or things like that, into home. And so those are kind of the type of podcasts I.
What was the first one you ever listened to?
I can't recall who did the podcast. It was almost like pretty much like how to not like be pissed off at work and like not rage. So yeah.
You were basically
You was flipping tables at work.
I mean, in my past life, at that point in life, I wanted to flip some tables,
Okay,
but
and that's all right.
Listen and we don't judge.
Job security is important, and so that podcast really helped me during rush hour traffic to really like not throw hands. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Well, my very first podcast that I listened to, I wasn't into podcasts, but one day were you with me? Maybe we were traveling to a cheer competition.
I already know.
I think I don't know how far we were driving, but it was a long drive. And our girl Morgan, she was like, I know what will help us pass the time. I have this podcast, and it was Call Her Daddy. And when I tell you, I got so
we were clutching our pearls. We were like,
they literally had me sitting at the edge of my seat listening to every single thing they had to say. I wanted all the information I needed, all the detail. They really had a great podcast. I don't listen to it now, but we were driving, and when I tell you it made the time go by like that, listening to Call Her Daddy, shout out to them because they had, I don't know what it's like now, but when I first started listening to it, it was A1. It was good.
they broke up, but
They broke up.
it's just one girl. It's just Alex.
Danger. Well, shout out to who?
Alex Cooper. Yeah.
Keep it going, girl.
I love podcasts. So.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
What was yours?
My first, so I travel for work, so I love listening to podcasts and music, all the things. So the first one that I remember listening to was Crime Junkies. Because I know that sounds crazy. I'm an October baby. I love Halloween. And
Halloween, all the
yes,
things.
all day long. So I love spooky, all that stuff. But I was just listening to crimes, and actually because it was one from my hometown that was on a different episode, which led me to her podcast.
Okay.
So she was one of the main ones that I started listening to first. And then my second one was Bailey Sarian on YouTube. She does her makeup, and she
yes.
talks.
I've seen that
and she She does her makeup and she talks about all these crime stories. And
Like you're sucked in watching the makeup, but then
Yes.
you're like, oh, she's telling a whole story.
Yes.
I've seen hers. I like
Yes.
those.
I need to add that to my list of.
yeah,
podcasts.
she did Casey Anthony, and she's a local here now where we live. So it's just like, yeah, I got sucked in to her, and I guess it's just more so crime, and yeah, that sounds so bad. That sounds crazy.
You're
but
into
Ever know how to kill somebody?
And I don't have nightmares. Like Harry Potter gives me nightmares. Stuff like that doesn't give me
But
nightmares.
like real crime doesn't.
I know.
We need to unpack
I
that.
know. Something happened when I was a child. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, those are my first kind of podcasts. And I just listen to a hodgepodge of everything.
Well, our podcast is basically, I don't know, it's a lifestyle podcast. We didn't want to put ourselves into a box. We wanted to be able to come on here and discuss whatever. So it could be anything from, we could unpack a TV show. We probably need to talk about The Bachelor.
We
Yes.
do.
We probably-
what a
we just-
disappointment.
finished that season, and
Still
we were
pissed.
all pretty upset about it. But we could talk about that. We could talk about our grievances. We could talk about whatever's happening in life, and that's why we made this a lifestyle podcast. You can send us in things and let us know what you want to hear from us. But can we unpack The Bachelor?
Yeah, because I have.
I don't know if we have any
all,
Bachelor fans.
I
but
haven't watched The Bachelor since Trista and Ryan. That was probably like 2005.
I watched
5,
Tasha.
6.
Tasha was
Yeah.
my last one.
Yeah, so they're the ones that got me on because they were talking about The Bachelor in our group chat, and I was like, "Child, let me go see," because they said a picture, and I was like, "Oh, he fine." So let me go see what the hype is.
He is
and
easy on the eyes.
missed the mark for me.
I don't even know how to articulate my thoughts about said Bachelor, but I feel like everybody on social media said one phrase that I agree with. He fumbled the bag
Yes.
miserably, like
Yes.
tumbled down a hill.
I feel
Fumble.
like he chose a fun time.
Agreed.
I don't know her like in depth to know like her values and all the things. But
And also
from
editing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, listen.
Right, you know that.
I
Yeah.
know about editing, so I'm gonna choose my words from a place of knowing how they can edit things and how they can make you think he's supposed to be with this girl and really this girl is better for him. But based off of the things that I saw, I feel like she is a fun time, but I don't know if she's going to be like a long-term thing for him. I don't even know if she really wanted a long-term thing. That's what I got. Now, she could be a wonderful wife, ready for children, all the things, and be everything his heart desires. But from what I saw, she just seemed like the more fun option.
My only issue, I think, with his journey, I can't imagine what it is like to have to narrow down who you're going to propose to in such a
Like 3 weeks?
yeah,
is
it's such
it?
a short amount of
month?
time. I think the only red flag for me, or the biggest red flag, was getting so close to that last day and then choosing words that insinuate you're going to make one decision and then you don't.
And
And
if you told me you couldn't wait to propose to me the next day, and then you didn't propose to me,
Sliding down a wall expeditiously.
with Crisco
yes.
and baby oil,
Yes.
rolled all over you.
With wasp on the wall. Yes.
like I just felt like he sold her a dream. And if she wasn't his pick, obviously cool, but don't have her thinking. And unless she's just delusional and he didn't really say that thing, and I mean he never, said
didn't
she was
den-
wrong.
he
He
didn't
didn't
deny
deny it. But I'm just like, you literally.
Well, I think she handled the situation. She handled it
the-
way better
come on
than I
now.
would.
Every time she said, "Come on
That
now,
little flip up, I was like,
come on now."
I think I would have been on my feet like, yeah. Because
she was,
yeah.
she was very graceful. I just
She
think
was.
there's a way to be, when you hear people overcompensate for not wanting to hurt people's feelings, or oh, it's so hard, and oh, it's just a lot of emotions. I think you can also pay that forward, and you can be very mindful of the person on the receiving end and try your hardest to be neutral, even if you're split. And I feel like he took it a step further beyond being neutral and sold that girl a dream, and then it felt bad
didn't.
for it the next day.
Yeah, I feel like he does have a lot of regret in how he handled his words to like the women.
I don't think I could handle it as a contestant with all the women, just like
I
a lot of
definitely
kissing.
couldn't go on The Bachelor. He kissed everybody.
Everybody.
I feel like,
Like from
he is the
jump.
first Bachelor to kiss so many people.
That was alarming to me.
He was just tonguing everybody down.
But since COVID, like I'm really weird about everything and germs. So
He had a
I was just
buffet.
like,
He said, "I'm
Yeah,
going
he
to
was-
test
he was doing a
everything."
lot
I
of
want
kissing.
all your germs,
I
yours
could-
and yours and yours.
Yeah, The Bachelor or The Bachelorette would never be a show for me.
No,
No, I'm not. First of all, I'm not competing for nobody.
no.
That's never. I'm not competing for nobody, and I don't want to have that many options to choose from either.
I'm territorial. I just what's mine is mine, what's yours is mine. It's all mine, and I don't want to have to share.
Exactly.
Aimee marks her territory.
Okay,
honey.
she said,
Yes.
"Not me, not
don't blame
today,
you.
not ever."
I don't blame me, but yeah, the Bachelor was. I was telling them early. I was like, I don't know. He's kind of lame. I don't know. There was something lame about him that I
just thought he was really handsome.
He was, or he is, not was. He still is handsome, aside from
the BS.
the BS that he went through with the girl, or he put the girls through. But there was something about him that was just lackluster to me. Lackluster, LACKLUSTER, lackluster.
Exclamation point.
Okay,
Hey,
I'm glad I watched it though.
Italicized. We've kind of let them know who we are, what we're about, how we met. I hope that, if you've made it this far, you like listening to us.
Yeah.
give us some topics that you want to hear us, speak about. We're gonna have every now and then a segment called "Bugged Out About Something." Questions. If you have a question for Amber, Aimee, or myself, you can ask that.
And in the future, I think we're going to have guests come
We
on.
are.
I know we planned a few people already, so we're really excited about that too.
Yes. So if you're bugged out about something, fill out a story. If you have a story to tell us, if something's getting on your nerves, if you want advice, we'll give you what we would do
We'll try.
to the best of our ability. But I do have a few shout outs of
Let's do it.
some sponsors. So shout out to Manhattan Neon Signs. If you're watching right now, this beautiful neon
good.
sign behind us was gifted to us from them. I do have a coupon code. I don't know off the top of my head. I'll put it in the comments or somewhere. You'll be able to find it. But thank you to Manhattan Neon Signs for, taking our logo and making it into a sign. Shout out to Sean Kangas. He designed our logo. Literally, I gave him a little beat up version of this. Well, no, not that. But I gave him a version of kind of what I wanted, and he took it and ran with it and made it.
He's like the human
most-
chat GPT.
Yes,
Literally.
1,000% the
Yeah.
human. So shout out to Sean Kangas on designing our logo and making it something that demonstrates who we are. A Gray Stitch, they did our beautiful crew necks, the great embroidery. Thank you to A Gray Stitch for making these for us to wear for our first episode. Shout out to Burrow Box Studio. That's actually where we are right now. They have made this beautiful setup for us. Anybody out there wanting to do a podcast in the Murfreesboro area, Nashville, wherever,
Or a photo shoot.
photo shoot, they have all the bells and whistles and they can get you squared away. So shout out to Burrow Box Studio.
Or if you're a content creator, you could also do some stuff out here as well.
Yes,
Beautiful
it is
space.
It's a
Beautiful
beautiful space,
space.
yeah.
They're multifaceted, so it's not just one thing. You can come here and do just about anything. So Burrow Box Studio, thank you, and thank you to our podcast Angel Patrick
Yes.
for being over accommodating to us in everything. Shout out to Aimee Seacrest. She recorded. And Stanley Randolph, he produced this song Between Us Girls. I was a co-writer, but shout out to my sister Aimee Seacrest for taking our song and making it more than we ever could imagine. I'm obsessed with the song, and it is on iTunes, so you can go cop it on iTunes. Be sure to follow us on Between Us Girls, at Between Us Girls podcast on Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Between Us Girl Pod.
And that's a wrap.
That's the y'all.
Ready?
Thanks for listening and watching.
And
5, 6, 7, 8.
Between us, girl.